Alright, howdy. Playing Halo 5 again. But this time I've been dipping into Forge a little bit. So I've actually got two Forge maps I've been playing around. Two maps that I've managed to get a little bit of hold of the new control schemes for the Forge mode. And I've been starting to get used to the way that some of the controls work, some of the props work, how it all works. So let's start out with doing Port 7, which is the first map I actually created, and I managed to use some of the mirroring stuff that that the game allows you to do, like some of the base building, how you can just take something and rotate it around to basically mirror it. This one I didn't create with any sketches. The second one I showed, like, I actually have like a sketch in front of me that shows like what I wanted typically the map to kind of look like, but this was kind of different, and it was more flying by the seat of my pants, and I just chose what I wanted to do. I'm not exactly sure how competitive this will be, but hey, it looks nice to me anyway. I've just got to get the animations correct, the camera movements, because I completely forgot about the area where I initially spawn in Forge. I wonder if it'll play that. Probably not, but whatever. Oh, nope. See, I forgot entirely about this area. This area spawns right when you actually start up. So let's have like a nice dramatic reveal here. Here's my... This is Port 7, the first thing that I actually created in Forge. Actually, the first thing I created in Forge is a horrifying amalgamation of pieces just to sort of get the gist of it. But this is essentially it. This wonderful map that is 110% over my light map budget, but looks really cool anyway. So most of this was created just by simply mirroring a lot of stuff. Like, I initially started with this corner over here, building a base and adding all the stuff in here. And adding this, I guess it's some sort of refueling station or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what. But in building this, let's go down here. You just get the idea just how large the scale is here. So I guess that the players would spawn in here. And this would be like a second floor where you would have a flag or something like that, whatever have you. And up here on the top would be a quick way to get across the map and put man cannons here to just get across nice and easy. Well, you're still giving some semblance of cover. I mean, you're still at risk if you're up there. And I wonder, like, what would some sort of port look like? Would have a lot of cargo containers, of course, and would have a couple of cranes to offload cargo onto a bunch of ships. I actually wondered if I would put a whole bunch of rocks out there to symbolize that. So, after I did that one section, I essentially just copied it over to the other one, but I didn't realize that you have a 64 object budget. So, the base transferred over, but not everything in the base. So, some of it was essentially having to redo some of it, not all of it. See, look, here's an example of that. So one railing here isn't copied over, so let's just take that and bring it over there. Bring it over here. As I said, like, I'm a little more familiar with the controls now. Let's see if this works. Boom. Alright, so the teleporter actually works just fine here. So, as I said, there was a second man cannon on top. I can launch you roughly in the same arc. I think it's copied over, but into cover. And a whole bunch of interactive things here, just to make the map seem a little more lively. There are only a couple things on the map, like a shotgun here that you can pick up. Some cars here. And a security office, I suppose I can call it, with a sniper rifle. And on the other end of the map, over down near where those crates are with the satellite dish, there's a second one. A lot of sight lines here, especially if you're a sniper. It's great if you have like a DMR or a battle rifle, which I'm intending the map to play with. So I added a couple platforms here, which are generally going to allow people to get up on top of the base through alternate means. That was pretty quick. That was pretty efficient. And down here in the vehicle base, you would have something like a gun goose spawn, because I figured that I had like a little thought experiment over what sort of vehicle would probably be allowed down there, and I just essentially chose the gun goose because it was the least game breaking. I considered mantises at first, but that didn't go well at all. I have a couple of cars here. Colored them all differently just to add like a little bit of like liveliness, like, hey, maybe there are people that worked here. And then of course a spanker launcher. Really cool. Really awesome that they added this to Forge. I can see that being used a whole lot. And of course, the cool thing is creating like the facade of the city back there, which of course gives the map a little more character. I would have added more, but it would kind of break my my object budget. Actually, my object budget is just fine. My light map there is going to suffer. So, and it's a cool thing, this is almost entirely just one-sided, three-sided, just so that people would get the gist of what they were seeing. Oh, I didn't know that there was a generator down there. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this map. It's essentially going to be like Slayer, but I'm hoping that CTF would work on here as well. I'm not too sure how well it would work. Oh, and invisible blockers. Very, very useful, because I don't want people getting out of the map. I mean, it would be instant death anyway, but the focus is here, not out there. So hopefully people can see that. And I guess if you really wanted, you could do something like the floor is lava, like a custom game mode or something, where you would need to traverse across the map in as many ways as possible without touching the ground, like save up your boost or whatnot. Because really, you can get around the map quite easily, as I figured, without actually touching the ground. I mean, like such. Okay. Yeah, really cool, actually, now that I see that. I mean, if you're pretty handy with a flag, you could probably do it that well. So anyways, that's Port 7. The first map that I put together in Forge. Now the second map, I think I managed to get the controls just a little bit better. And we'll take a look at that with a nice handy cross dissolve. So it is a bridge going across the canyon from one end to the other, pretty close actually to the level boundary, so I gotta make sure that I stay within that, but I doubt players will be going very far. So we have two levels here. The upper level, which is essentially civilian road traffic, which is pretty much what this bridge was used for before it, well, something horrible happened here, and I'm not entirely sure what. So almost zombie-like in a way. I guess it could do well for an infection map once we actually get the game mode. We have some fire, we have some sparks, it's all cool. We have like a giant door here just to make sure it isn't floating in space. And there's a second level as well. Originally I designed it with these ramps here, very, very shoddily made ramps. But I'm not entirely sure if I want these anymore, given that I have stairs instead. So it's possible I'm going to make the lower level here mostly just for foot traffic, and which it seems very well suited for. Well, I don't really intend any vehicles to be used on this map anyway. So let's actually get down here and check it out. It's a fairly large bridge, actually, not a small map by any means, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get all the way across. And you'll have the cars, which are going to be some form of mobile cover. You can actually crouch behind the barriers as well, sort of shield yourself from oncoming fire. I might throw down a couple of things later on, but this is essentially kind of it right now. There's signs here, which really like show like level 3, level 4, which is originally was all just level 3, but it didn't make very much sense otherwise. Okay, I'm gonna die, aren't I? The fire. Killed by my own creation. So let's check out the bottom side. Actually, before I go to the bottom side, I'm gonna check out the man cannons here. The man cannons were in my original design as well, which were on this sheet of paper right here, where I basically sketched out the map. It's a little different from when it looks, but the man cannons were always a part of that. We'll get you into like the basic action here. I'll get a little bit of an advantage at the cost of some cover. Then you have this area, this man cannon here, which will essentially shoot you more or less to the same place. So, in the original design, like when I got started, I started with these supports here, but I had to make columns. I originally wanted to be cables, but the cables wouldn't render correctly at a distance. So the columns themselves actually worked fairly well. And I might split this up because in my original sketch there were 4 support beams on like the sides of, well, at least 4 support points that were on the side of the bridge, which I could later latch into the rock, or the ice in this case, icy rock. So you saw there were 2 levels here, but there's actually a 3rd level, which is not immediately known, which is further down. So, let's get down there the old-fashioned way. This is way down here, and this is sort of like a secret passage, or basically a way to get a power weapon. I'm not entirely sure what power weapon I want to have down here. Probably a rocket launcher or something, but we are so very close to level boundary, and actually the supports actually go down a little further. And the fog is there to obscure the fact that the supports actually do run out eventually. I can't like put them down indefinitely. I can actually put them down fairly far. Like I can still copy something, zoom out a little bit, and have the piece go down there, and the fog will obscure it. I mean, I guess in theory I could actually have it touch the ground. I haven't tried it yet, but oh, actually I don't want that. Get rid of that. So I am getting used to the controls here. So going back down here, and we have the lights to sort of illuminate things. I probably might put some railings here, maybe not. I'm not too sure, because this is the risky passage here. Like someone could essentially ground pound you from up above if they can see you coming here. Like they'd have to be a damn good shot, but they could do it. And to get back up, we have these grab lifts. And yeah, these ones are basically supercharged so that you can get all the way back up. I'm so glad 343 allowed us to do this. Really, really cool. Like in CTF. What is this doing here? This shouldn't be here. I have to get rid of this. So originally, this road down here was meant for road traffic or something like that. Essentially, this middle column here was not here at all. So it was pretty much empty. And I tried to script it so that you could create like a sort of like a suspension bridge sort of thing where, not suspension bridge, but a hanging bridge where the piece would go up and down to allow vehicles to go through. But I decided that I wasn't 100% confident on the scripting. I managed to make it go down, but not to make it go back up to the previous position. And I'll probably have to consult walkthroughs on that as well. And I'm going to eventually get rid of these bridges here because they make the map look kind of ugly and not all that playable as well. Well, I mean, it doesn't look very nice aesthetically speaking. So what I'm going to do is I'm likely going to take things like this part of the bridge here, and let's actually do that. So bye-bye to this. That was all one group anyway. And we will copy this. So the way you do that is you highlight a piece, hold your right button if you want. You can just, I'm pressing it, but you can hold it if you really want to, which will take anything like a paintbrush. And what I'm going to do is select everything, and you have a 64 object budget, so go nuts, but not too nuts. Sans the man cannon, of course. The man cannon is going to stay right here. I like the noise. The ambient noise of the man cannon. And we will, first of all, we're going to save it as a group, so it'll behave as one object, and we will copy it. Really cool. So this is like a good couple minutes work. This actually looks a lot nicer aesthetically speaking as well, where it pretty much, I've replaced that entire section with this. It's a small little staircase so that you have the option if you want to come down here and basically ruin anybody's day. And if you're coming down from that angle, you could pretty much jump over that and head back up on your merry way, or you could stay underneath and jump over that, or stay on that road and use the underground route. And that's good, because, well, I like providing alternate routes if need be. Like, you shouldn't be restricted to simply one means of getting about and doing your work. So, this I'm going to have to deselect as a group so I can get this. Sticking it on there. A little low, or is it? That'll work. And I will take this again and line it up here, as well as taking this. A bad camera angle. It notices that it snaps like that sometimes as well. Like that. Huh? Oh, there we go. Wasn't sure what was happening for a second. There we go. So, hey, that looks pretty nice actually. Missing the railing for the staircase, but oh well. Can't win them all. I seem to be missing a staircase, a railing here. So, yeah, choose what you want to do. You want to go in? Fine. You want to go over here? Fine. You want to go up and over here? Fine. You can do that. You want to go up and over here? Well, I mean, wait for my shields to recharge. Well, that's fine. And now that's gone, I can pretty much board it up. You know what? This actually reminds me of the bridge from Assault on the Control Room, now that I think about it. That was a two-tiered system with a staircase coming down here. I think I may have subconsciously modeled it on that, because this does have some similarities. And originally I wanted to put a control room down here that someone could basically, as like a focal point, and I might be able to do that, like put like a small security office on like this side or this side. We'll have to see, and I might need to put some trusses on the bottom just for aesthetic reasons. Anyways, there's the span. I've still got to do some more work on it. I've got to color the lower level down here, probably like a gray or something like that, and we will see what we can do with that. This is my best map yet, though, where I'm really starting to get a hold of the Forge controls, and I got to start to make rounded maps too, which is something I think I can do quite easily, but with some work, we'll figure out how it looks. Anyways, thanks for bearing through this, and I'll see you next time.